My beloved brothers and sisters, sometimes in life, we feel as though our entire world has collapsed. The very heart that once beat with hope now beats with sorrow. You trusted, you loved, you gave, yet you were left shattered. Your heart is broken and you ask, why, O Allah? But have you paused for a moment to think? Maybe it was Allah who allowed it, not to punish you but to protect you, not to break you but to bring you closer to Him. You see, Allah is the most merciful, the most wise. He knows what you do not know. Sometimes He removes people from your life because they were never meant to be part of your destiny. Sometimes He breaks your heart so that your soul can finally turn to Him fully. That pain you're feeling, it is not the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one that brings you closer to your Rabb. Don't let your broken heart distance you from Allah. Let it be the reason you run back to Him. Because when the world lets you down, Allah lifts you up. And when people hurt you, Allah heals you in ways no one else can. So stay with me in this talk, my brothers and sisters, as we explore why your heartbreak happened, and more importantly, what Allah wants you to learn through it. When your heart is broken, it often feels like everything has come to a halt. The pain is overwhelming, and the silence that follows can be deafening. You may cry out to Allah asking, why me? Or why now? But the truth is, heartbreak is not the end of your journey. It's a divine detour. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, redirects us not to hurt us, but to save us from paths that may lead to greater harm, or from people who were never written for us. Sometimes, the things we desire the most are not good for us, and Allah knows this even when we do not. Life is a test, and among its trials is emotional pain. Heartbreak shakes you in a way few things can. It strips you of your attachments and forces you to look inward. And while that can feel like a collapse, it's actually a redirection, a divine recalibration of your soul. What you thought was the end of a story may just be the beginning of something far more beautiful. Something you couldn't see because your heart was too attached to the wrong things. Always give. Allah does not allow anything to happen without purpose. When you lose something or someone you cherished, know that Allah saw what you could not. Maybe that relationship would have taken you away from your deen. Maybe that person was not sincere. Or maybe you were being tested so you could grow in sabr, tawakkul, and closeness to Allah. Every hardship a believer faces is not meaningless. It is packed with purpose, even when it hurts. This detour may not come with answers immediately. You may feel lost, angry, or confused. That's okay. Even the prophets faced moments of sadness. Yaqub cried until he lost his eyesight. Maryam cried alone in childbirth. The Prophet Muhammad experienced deep grief after the death of Khadija, Iraq, and Abu Talib. But they all turned to Allah. They all found their strength through Him. Always give, and you can too. Sometimes the road you plan for yourself is blocked because it wasn't taking you where you were meant to go. Heartbreak redirects your heart back to its creator. It teaches you that no matter how much you love someone or something, nothing should come before Allah. It humbles you. It breaks the illusion of control and reminds you that only Allah is truly in charge. So if your heart is broken today, understand that it is not the end. It's not a curse. It's a detour. A sign that Allah is guiding you, shaping you, and preparing something better for you. You may not see it now, but one day you'll look back and thank Allah for saving you from what you thought you wanted. Because the moment your heart broke was also the moment Allah began to rebuild it in a way that only He can. Sometimes we hold on to people, relationships, or situations with all our heart, thinking they are what's best for us. We invest time, emotions, and trust only to watch them slip away. It feels like betrayal, abandonment, or injustice. But in reality, Allah is removing what is not meant for us in order to replace it with something far better. This is not rejection. It is redirection. And it's not always about punishment. It's often about protection and preparation. Allah says in the Qur'an, but perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you. And perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. And Allah knows, while you know not. Surah Al-Baqarah 2016. This verse is a deep reminder that our limited view of life cannot compare to Allah's perfect knowledge. We may think we've found the one or the perfect opportunity, but only Allah knows what lies ahead. Maybe the very thing you're crying over was going to destroy you emotionally, spiritually, or even physically, had it remained in your life. Heartbreak is painful, but sometimes it's also necessary. Just like a doctor may amputate a limb to save a life, Allah may remove someone from your life to protect your heart, your deen, and your future. We often cannot see the dangers that hide behind the things we love, but Allah sees everything. So when He removes, it's not because He wants to hurt us, it's because He wants better for us. His replacement is always with hikmah's wisdom, even if it comes with temporary pain. Sometimes, what you lose was simply a test. Maybe that person or situation was meant to reveal something within yourself, your level of attachment, your dependence on people instead of Allah, or your willingness to compromise your values. And when that test is over, Allah removes it so you can grow. Always give. In that process, He prepares your heart for something more aligned with your purpose. But for you to receive that, your hands must be empty. You cannot hold tightly to something that is not written for you and expect peace. Letting go is hard, but it's often the first step to receiving what is truly meant for you. It's also important to remember that when Allah replaces, He doesn't just give you something equal, He gives you something better. It may not come immediately. It may not even come in the same form. But when it arrives, you'll understand why the delay happened, why the door closed, and why the heartbreak was necessary. Trust the process. Trust the one who is in control of the process. In this journey, patience and tawakkul, reliance on Allah, are your strongest allies. Keep your heart attached to Allah, and you'll never be left empty. The pain you feel now will fade, but the reward of trusting Allah's plan will remain. Because when He takes something away, it is only to replace it with what your heart truly needs, not just what it wants. When pain strikes the heart, our first instinct is to question, to cry, and to wonder why we are suffering. We begin to look at the situation as a punishment, as if we have done something terribly wrong. But sometimes, pain is not a punishment, it is a reminder. It's Allah's gentle yet firm way of redirecting our attention, of awakening us from our spiritual sleep. When the heart is broken, it forces us to pause and reflect. It makes us realize how fragile we truly are, and how much we need Allah. There are moments in life when we become too attached to people, to this world, to outcomes we have no control over. And in those moments, we may begin to forget the one who gave us everything in the first place. So Allah sends us a reminder. It may come in the form of loss, heartbreak, betrayal, or disappointment, but it comes for a reason to bring our focus back to Him. This is not cruelty, it is mercy in disguise. Pain softens the heart. A heart that was once arrogant becomes humble. A heart was distracted becomes focused. A heart that was far from Allah begins to call out to Him with sincerity. Sometimes, when life is going well, we forget to turn to Allah. Our prayers become mechanical, our hearts become hard, and our connection to our Creator weakens. So He allows a moment of pain, not to destroy us, but to cleanse us, to bring us closer, to remind us of what really matters. It is through pain that we begin to truly experience the sweetness of dua. The cries we make in the depths of the night, the tears that fall in sujood, the silent prayers whispered from a broken heart. These are the moments that elevate us. These are the moments when our connection with Allah becomes real. And that is a gift. The Prophet Muhammad said, no fatigue, nor disease, nor sorrow, nor sadness, nor hurt, nor distress befalls a Muslim, even if it were the prick he receives from a thorn, but that Allah expiates some of his sins for that. Bukhari and Muslim. This hadith reminds us that pain is not wasted. It purifies us. It draws us nearer to Allah and wipes away our sins. So instead of viewing our suffering as punishment, we must see it as an opportunity, an invitation to return to Allah with sincerity and humility. We must also remember that Allah never burdens a soul more than it can bear. If you're going through a heartbreak, it's because He knows you can handle it. And not just handle it, but grow through it, become better through it. Let it refine you, not define you. So yes, pain hurts, but it also heals. It teaches. It transforms. It reminds you that your heart is not meant to be a curse to this world, but to the one who created it. And when you see pain through this lens, you begin to realize it was never punishment, it was mercy. Healing is a process, and the most profound healing begins when the heart turns to Allah. Always give. When you're broken, when you've been betrayed, abandoned, or hurt beyond words, no human being can truly understand the depth of your pain. Always give. Even those who love you may not fully grasp what you're feeling. That's because your heart was created not just to connect with people, but ultimately to connect with its creator. True healing doesn't come from distractions or from pretending the pain isn't there. It comes from facing it, feeling it, and surrendering it to Allah. When a person turns to Allah with a heart that is wounded, that brokenness is not a weakness, it's a doorway. It's an invitation to reconnect with the one who never left you, even when the world did. You see, the world can only offer temporary comfort, temporary companionship, and temporary love. But what Allah offers, eternal peace, unconditional mercy, and love that never fades. When you lift your hands in dua and let your tears fall in sadda, you are not just releasing emotion, you are beginning to heal. Always give. Your heart is being restored not by the world, but by the one who created it. The beauty of turning to Allah in times of pain is that you're no longer depending on people to fix what they didn't create. Often, we fall into the trap of trying to replace one person another, one situation with another, hoping that something or someone will make us feel whole again. But that only leads to more disappointment, because no one can fill the void in your heart except Allah. He is El-Jabbar, the one who mends the broken. And when He mends, He does so with gentleness, wisdom, and perfection. As you begin to connect with Allah, through prayer, through Qur'an, through remembrance, you'll notice that your heart starts to shift. The pain may still be there, but it no longer controls you. You begin to see the purpose behind it. You begin to trust that Allah allowed it for your growth, for your purification, and for your return to Him. Always give, and you start to feel peace, not because your circumstances have changed, but because you have changed. Always give. This turning point in your healing is where transformation happens. You start to rediscover your worth, not through how others see you, but through how Allah values you. You realize that the love you were searching for in people is already present in the mercy of your Lord. You understand that the loneliness you feel is actually a call to spend time in His remembrance, where true companionship is found. So if your heart is broken, don't run away from the pain. Run to Allah with it. Cry to Him, speak to Him, seek Him in every tear and in every prayer. Because the moment you turn your heart to Allah is the moment healing begins. And what He gives in return is far greater than what you lost. When life brings you to your knees and your heart feels crushed under the weight of sorrow, your dua, your supplication takes on a new meaning. It becomes more than just a request. It becomes your cry for help, your act of surrender, your lifeline to the one who never leaves you. In times of heartbreak, your dua is not only more sincere, it is more powerful. And that's because it comes from a place of desperation, vulnerability, and humility, the very state in which Allah loves to see His servant. Many of us may do when we need something, and that's natural. But the dua of a broken heart is different. It carries tears, it carries silence. Sometimes it doesn't even carry words, just pain. And Allah knows. He understands what you cannot even express. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Indeed, your Lord is shy and generous. He is shy when His servant raises his hands to Him to return them empty." Abu Dawud. This hadith reminds us that Allah does not ignore sincere supplication, especially when it is made with a heart that is in pieces. When you are heartbroken, your connection with Allah can reach a depth you've never experienced before. Why? Because the distractions are gone. The illusion of control is gone. The people you relied on are no longer there. And in that emptiness, you finally realize that Allah is enough. Your dua becomes more real. You beg, not just ask. You cry, not just speak. And in those moments, Allah responds in ways you may not immediately see. But that response is always there. Sometimes the answer to your dua isn't fixing the situation right away. Always give. Sometimes it's strengthening your heart so you can endure it. Sometimes it's removing a person not to punish you, but to free you from emotional bondage. And sometimes the answer is delayed because what you are asking for is far smaller than what Allah wants to give you. He hears every tear, every whisper, every silent plea from your aching soul. Not a single moment of sincere dua goes unnoticed. In fact, Allah says in the Qur'an, "Call upon me, I will respond to you. Shura, Gifar 40g60. That is a promise, not a maybe, not a possibility, a promise. When your heart is in pain, remember that you do is more than just words. It is a form of worship, is an act of faith. It's proof that even in your darkest moment, you believe Allah can bring light. So don't stop making dua. Don't stop talking to your Lord, even if all you can say is, Ya Allah, always help me. Keep showing up in sujud. Keep whispering your pain into the silence of the night. Because those are the moments when angels are writing your name among those who turn to their Lord in times of hardship. And those are the moments when healing begins. Not always with a change in your situation, but always with a change in your heart. Every loss in life comes with a lesson, even if we don't recognize it right away. When your heart is broken, it feels like everything has gone wrong. The plans you made, the love you gave, the dreams you built, all come crashing down. But in the midst of that collapse lies something far more valuable, a divine message. Allah never allows pain without purpose, and every loss is wrapped in mercy, even if that mercy is hidden behind tears. Often, when we face heartbreak, we focus so much on what we've lost that we fail to reflect on what we've gained. Yes, you may have lost someone you loved deeply. Yes, your trust may have been shattered. But what did you learn? Always, perhaps you learned the difference between genuine and superficial love. Perhaps you discovered your own strength. Or perhaps you finally saw who really stood with you when everything fell apart. These realizations are not accidents. They are gifts. They are part of the wisdom that Allah embeds in every trial. Heartbreak exposes what is inside us. It reveals our attachments, our expectations, and our spiritual weaknesses. It shows us whether we were depending on people instead of Allah, whether we placed our hopes in creation rather than the Creator. And in doing so, it offers us a chance to purify our intentions and redirect our focus. That's a lesson far greater than any worldly success. Always give mercy that teaches the heart how to love without being enslaved, how to care without compromising, and how to hope without placing that hope in the wrong place. Moreover, sometimes a heartbreak is the only way to remove you from a harmful situation you were too emotionally invested in to walk away from. Allah knows what lies ahead. You might not have left on your own. So He allowed the break to occur so that you could be free. Free to grow, free to heal, free to move towards something better. This is His mercy, though at the time it may feel like abandonment. But when the dust settles, you begin to see that what you thought was a loss was actually a form of divine protection. As time passes and wounds begin to heal, the lessons become clearer. You realize that Allah was not being harsh. He was training your heart. He was teaching you to rely on Him completely. You may even begin to thank Him for the heartbreak, not because it didn't hurt, but because it changed you in ways comfort never could. This is the essence of mercy, a painful experience that results in your spiritual elevation. So the next time you face a loss, don't just ask, why did this happen? Instead ask, what is Allah trying to teach me? Because behind every tear is a message, and behind every closed door is a wisdom. And once you see your heart break through that lens, you'll begin to realize this wasn't just pain. It was a lesson cloaked in the mercy of your Lord. My beloved brothers and sisters, your broken heart is not a sign that Allah has abandoned you. It's a sign that He wants you closer. What you lost was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to guide you back to the one who heals, who replaces, who never leaves. Behind every heartbreak is a hidden mercy, a powerful lesson, and a chance to rebuild your connection with Allah. So trust His plan, hold firm to your faith, and let your pain be the reason you rise, not the reason you fall. Because when Allah breaks your heart, it's only to fill it with something far greater.